Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving headfirst into an absolute modern classic. We're breaking down the intricate plot of Christopher Nolan's 2005 masterpiece, Batman Begins. Now, in this explainer, we're doing a deep dive into the story to see exactly how a grounded, realistic superhero is actually born. Instead of just throwing us right into the action with a fully formed vigilante, this narrative methodically builds the man behind the myth, literally from the ground up. So here's the core question we're looking to answer today. How exactly does a traumatized billionaire become a symbol of justice? We're going to unpack Bruce Wayne's entire chronological journey. We'll look at the exact sequence of events, the mentors, the missteps, and the grand philosophies that take a broken young man and forge him into this terrifying deterrent against crime. It's not who we are, but what we do that defines us. Man, this brilliant quote from Bruce's childhood friend, Rachel Dawes, it perfectly frames the character study we're about to jump into. This idea that action totally supersedes identity, well, it's the beating heart of the whole story. It really doesn't matter what Bruce Wayne feels inside. What matters is how he chooses to project that pain out into the world. Part 1. A Fearful Beginning. Let's look at the sheer weight of Bruce's childhood drama, because it really sparks this paralyzing descent into grief and an overwhelming desire for vengeance. First, young Bruce falls down a dry well on the Wayne estate, and that's where he develops this visceral, deep-seated phobia of bats. Then, shortly after, a family trip to the opera ends in unimaginable tragedy when a mugger named Joe Chill shoots and kills his parents right in front of him. Fast forward 14 years, and Bruce actually plans to murder Chill at his parole hearing. But an assassin hired by the mob boss Carmine Falcone gets to Chill first. Totally robbed of his revenge, and honestly pretty disgusted by his own willingness to kill, Bruce leaves Gotham. He vanishes for 7 long years, traveling the globe just to understand the criminal mind. But right before Bruce leaves the city, he has this incredibly tense confrontation with that mafia boss Carmine Falcone. And it instills a crucial lesson in him about the actual mechanics of fear and power in Gotham. Falcone basically mocks Bruce. He points out that all his wealth and family legacy mean absolutely nothing on the streets. True power, Falcone tells him, comes from being feared, the ability to strike absolute terror into others. Now, Bruce takes this twisted lesson to heart, but, as we'll see, he eventually decides to turn it right back on the criminals themselves. Part 2. The League of Shadows. Okay, so deep in a Bhutanese prison, Bruce is approached by a man named Henri Ducard. Ducard recruits him into this mysterious, incredibly extreme ancient society called the League of Shadows. Operating under the command of Ra's al Ghul, the League trains Bruce in the absolute highest forms of martial arts, theatricality, and deception. They basically hand him the physical and psychological toolkit he needs to fight injustice. But of course, there is a massive catch. An ideological clash between Bruce and the League is totally inevitable, because while Bruce completely masters their combat techniques, he fundamentally rejects their core mandate. See, the League isn't just about fighting regular crime. They firmly believe Gotham City is completely corrupt, totally beyond saving, and has to be absolutely destroyed to restore global balance. So as a final test, Bruce is ordered to execute a local criminal to prove his loyalty. He flat out refuses. He draws a hard moral line right there in the sand. He'll seek true justice, sure, but he absolutely refuses to become an executioner. And this critical decision sets up a massive ripple effect for the rest of our explainer. A huge fight breaks out, and Bruce actually burns the League's mountain temple straight to the ground. During the chaos, the leader, Ra's al Ghul, is killed by falling debris. But here's the thing. Despite Ducard's super extreme destructive views, Bruce just can't bring himself to leave his unconscious mentor to die in the flames. He drags him to safety, leaves him with some locals, and finally heads back home to Gotham. Part 3. Forging the Batman. Now, back in Gotham, Bruce energetically transitions from a lost wanderer into a highly tactical vigilante. To do this, he reconnects with his own company, Wayne Enterprises, specifically teaming up with Lucius Fox. Fox is this brilliant archivist who's been unfairly sidelined by the company's current, very corrupt management. Fox hooks Bruce up with some serious military-grade hardware. We're talking a prototype protective bodysuit that quickly becomes the Batsuit, an armored bridging vehicle called the Tumbler, which, you guessed it, becomes the Batmobile, and all the resources he needs to set up a sprawling base of operations right in the caves beneath Wayne Manor, the very same caves where he first learned to fear bats. This brings us to a really crucial point. Bruce is weaponizing his own childhood trauma to strike fear into the hearts of criminals. But to pull it off, he has to hide behind a carefully crafted public mask. To the rest of the world, Bruce Wayne acts like an incredibly shallow, careless billionaire playboy, swimming in public fountains with models and buying luxury hotels on a whim. But in the shadows, in private, he is the crusader. He is Batman. It's a perfect synthesis. He's using a terrifying symbol to combat the fear that guys like Falcone used to rule the city, while keeping his true mission totally insulated by his ridiculous public decoy. Part 4. Unleashing the Fear Toxin. But as it turns out, Batman is definitely not the only one utilizing fear in Gotham. Enter Dr. Jonathan Crane, a corrupt psychopharmacologist working over at Arkham Asylum. Crane has been quietly taking out anyone who gets too close to his underworld operations using a weaponized, fear-inducing hallucinogen. Acting under the menacing alter ego Scarecrow, he hits his victims with this toxin that forces them to vividly hallucinate their absolute worst nightmares. When Batman starts investigating, he takes a massive, point-blank dose of this fear gas to the face. He barely makes it out alive, kicking off a super tense race against time as Lucius Fox and Bruce's loyal butler Alfred scramble to synthesize an antidote. And this leads us to the villain's actual master plan. Crane wasn't just acting alone. This was a massive conspiracy to plunge Gotham into total, unstoppable chaos. Step 1, they used Carmine Falcone's mafia shipments to smuggle the drug components right into the city. Step 2, over the course of several months, they slowly introduced this fear toxin into Gotham's entire water supply. Now, the drug only works when inhaled, so it just sat there, totally harmless in the liquid water. That is, until Step 3. The villains steal a powerful Wayne Enterprises microwave emitter, a machine designed to instantly vaporize water systems. If they activate it, the entire city's water supply turns to steam. Everyone breathes in the toxin, and Gotham literally tears itself apart in absolute fear-driven hysteria. And then, boom, we get the massive plot twist regarding who's actually pulling the strings. The mentor becomes the master villain. Right in the middle of Bruce's lavish birthday party, Henri Ducard crashes the event and reveals that he is actually the true Ra's al Ghul. The guy who died in Bhutan? Just a decoy. Ra's has come to finish the League of Shadows mission to destroy Gotham once and for all. And just to add insult to injury, he burns Wayne Manor to the ground, trapping Bruce inside the burning wreckage of his own childhood home. Part 5. The Legend Begins. Thanks to Alfred, Bruce barely escapes the fire, but the city is already descending into madness. The pacing here reaches an absolute fever pitch for the climax. Ra's al Ghul loads that stolen microwave emitter onto Gotham's central monorail, aiming to vaporize the main water hub right under Wayne Tower. Batman manages to board the speeding train for a brutal final showdown with his former master. Meanwhile, he's tasked Sergeant James Gordon to drive the tumbler and physically blast away the train's track pillars with its cannons. As the train careens toward the destroyed tracks, Batman finally pins Ra's down. And this pays off his earlier ideological stance so perfectly. He finds a loophole. He looks at Ra's and says, "I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you." Then he just glides out the back of the train, leaving Ra's to his inevitable fatal crash. So the day is saved, but it's a pretty bittersweet resolution. Bruce stopped the city from tearing itself apart, but it costs him his personal happiness. Rachel Dawes, who now knows his secret identity, tells him that the Bruce she grew up loving is gone. That billionaire playboy is the actual mask now, and Batman is his true face. She profoundly respects him, but she refuses to be with him until Gotham no longer needs Batman. Which means Bruce's tragic sacrifice is totally solidified. He is fundamentally isolated by the very symbol he created to save everyone. But a new status quo is established. Bruce buys back a controlling stake in his family's company, promptly fires the corrupt CEO, and places the reliable Lucius Fox firmly in charge of Wayne Enterprises. Over in law enforcement, Jim Gordon gets a well-deserved promotion to lieutenant. And in a really iconic moment, Gordon unveils a brand new tool on the police department rooftop, the Bat Signal. It's a massive searchlight cutting through the Gotham smog, serving as a beacon to summon their new public hero. However, escalation is completely inevitable. The arrival of a highly theatrical hero practically invites theatrical villains to step up. Up on that rooftop, Lieutenant Gordon warns Batman about an emerging criminal, a new guy with a penchant for armed robbery, double homicide, and a serious taste for the theatrical. And his calling card? He leaves behind Joker playing cards at his crime scenes. Batman simply promises to look into it and glides off into the night. Conquering one's own fear can absolutely change the world. But I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. How far must a hero actually go to fight escalating chaos? Bruce Wayne successfully weaponized his own trauma into a powerful symbol for justice. But as we see with that Joker card, his very existence is escalating the madness in Gotham. So, what's the true cost of becoming a legend? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep questioning, keep analyzing, and I'll see you in the next one.